Today, we're going to be covering the content creation process for founders and SMBs. So let's talk about this. This is coming because I heard a story. It was about a janitor. He owns a commercial cleaning company and he got sick. Before he got sick, though, I want to premise this with the fact that he was already en route to try to build a franchise. He had a consultant come in and see what he needed to basically make his business into a franchise. And the consultant came in and was like, hey, you need a lot of what you do systematized and digitized so that somebody could just come in here and run it if it's not you. So he started recording a lot of what he was doing, like cleaning, how they choose the chemicals, how they clean this, how they clean that. And he started getting things in order. Well, it just so happened that then he had a health scare and he ended up going into the hospital for 6 months. 1 month in, his sister comes in and takes over the business. And so everything that he compiled for growing into a franchise, long story short, she was able to run the business and keep it profitable and everything with him being in the hospital for 6 months. And not a lot of small business owners could say the same. I always ask people, how long could you realistically walk away from your business without it crumbling to the ground? And for most people, it's not even 2 weeks. What I'm going to teach you today, because I feel like people consistently underestimate the power of content and what you can do with it. Like in his case, he used the content to create systems and to be internally educational for people to come in and to learn how to do their job, for an operator to come in and learn how to operate the business. It's the same concept of how valuable this is for your small business. Today, we're going to be talking about the value of content creation as a process in general, so that you don't feel burned out creating content and so that it doesn't feel overwhelming. So the first thing that we have to come to terms with really is that you need to become more than whatever it is that you do. If you're a coach, if you're a mindset coach, you need to start adopting the mentality that you are a media company, even if you're a singular person that has a responsibility to promote your mindset coaching services in order to gain the attention of and reach more people. If you're a business consultant, the same thing. You are more than a business consultant. You have to take the responsibility as a media company that is responsible for promoting business consultation services in whatever niche of business you're in. And when we look at the value of attention, I was listening to this video and Gary Vee mentioned this, and it's just really powerful. He said that the biggest advertiser in the first 10 years of television was Procter & Gamble. It has a large reason to do with why they're so big today. The biggest Google Ads advertiser between 2001 and 2005 was Amazon. Again, a reason why they're dominating today, because they literally monopolized those levels of attention during that time. And so we really just have to come to terms with your business needs attention in order to survive. If your business does not get sufficient attention, you'll go out of business and nobody's going to do it for you. You probably also don't have the ad spend of Procter & Gamble, of Amazon, so on and so forth. So you have to leverage what it is that you do have in order to get attention. And a lot of the things that you have are enough to even get attention organically and then to leverage both paid and organic together. Having that mindset is essential, because if not, then content remains this optional thing. If you don't start to see yourself as a media company that has the responsibility to get your business attention, then everything that has to do with getting attention remains optional. If you start to act that way and think that way, then it just follows suit that you have to do things to get attention. The next thing is strategy, and we're going to be focused on a few things today. So mindset, we're going to be focused on strategy, documentation, creation, distribution, measurement, organization of the assets, and repurposing the digital assets. So we have a lot to cover and not a lot of time to cover it. So I'm going to talk fast and hopefully you listen fast. Your strategy really has to revolve around starting with who you serve. Although you're going to be leveraging your story in your content, although you're going to be leveraging certain personal experiences that you've had, it's all in the service of being relatable and attracting your prospect. So you really have to know who that is. And this is where a large majority of small business owners that I see making less than 20 grand a month are. They don't even know who their prospect is. They haven't really doubled down on the people that are paying them the most with the least resistance, because they still have this fear mentality that if they niche down, that they're going to lose out on all of this business, when in reality, they're probably their own worst enemy right now, because they're not niching down on who is paying you the most with the least resistance. And sometimes that prospect, that who, is not who you think it is, and it may not be who you want it to be. I was coaching this company, and this person had it in their mind that their prospect was like this cool millennial that shops at Whole Foods, everything's organic. And then it turned out that she had given product to those people and they hadn't even purchased. They hadn't even used the free product. And her who, right, her real buyers and repeat buyers were actually empty nester women, 55 plus, married. And they were the only ones not just purchasing a large majority of the product, but repurchasing the product and telling their friends about it. And that's not who she originally thought her customer client would be when she started the company. That's not the vision that she had, but sometimes it is what it is. And you have to look at the numbers. That's really essential. If you don't know who you serve, then you can't create relatable content for them. You can't focus on their challenges. You can't speak their language. You have to know that, and don't be biased towards it. Just look at the numbers. Who is literally paying you the most with the least resistance? Who's repeat buying? Who's referring people without you even asking them to refer people? That is your prospect. Then you have to be honest with yourself and say, okay, where do your strengths lie in terms of creation? Do you have this amazing delivery on video? Do you have this amazing voice, but you're shy on video? So then maybe you'd want to start a podcast. Do you just not even know how to communicate verbally, and so you'd rather write? Or are you an artist that draws all these amazing images? Whatever it is, you need to know yourself. This is another huge challenge that I see in entrepreneurship. You really have to know where your strengths lie and what you're going to do. So are you going to go for video? Are you going to mainly focus on audio? Are you going to write? Are you going to do all three? Are you comfortable with all three? So then once you focus on the mediums, you really need to focus on questions. There needs to be some emotional based content where you extract parts of your origin story to inspire your prospects, to make them feel something. And that's the type of content that can't be duplicated, because those are based on your personal experiences and nobody can take that away from you. So you have to ask yourself, really, what have you experienced that you could bring forth to the table to inspire your prospects, to help them get over a challenge, to make them feel something in a positive way, so that they can start to associate your brand with those emotions. Then what can you teach your prospects? So it's not just emotional, it also has to be educational. So what can you teach your prospects that will help them do what they do better, and not in a very blasé, oh, these 3 tips kind of way, but like go deep and go further than anyone else in your space. Really just lay it all out. You should have systems in place also to collect questions that your current clients keep asking you and that your prospects keep asking you. So we do have those systems in place. One of the things that I recommend I see here is we have integrated AI to your Zoom. And what that does is that will give you a transcript of every single meeting that you have, be it with a prospect, be it with a client, be it with a group coaching program. And then what you could do is have someone on your team, or have a VA, or even just put time aside, if it's just you, to extract the questions or highlight the questions within the transcript. And then what you do is pick the best questions, and you can create one video per question, or you can create one article per question. I like to just do video because the video can then become an audio, and then the audio can become a transcript. And then I have all 3 and I compress my time. So that's just my personal process. It may not work for you. So we covered mindset and strategy, now documentation. A lot of the times I see that founders and small business owners, they have content. You're just not leveraging it the way that you should, because you're not prioritizing it and you're not creating systems to extract some of your mic drops that you've probably had during your meetings. You should store your Zoom meetings somewhere like in a Dropbox or whatever, download them, put them in Google Drive, and then have someone on your team or have a VA or whatever that actually understands your brand and what you're trying to put out there, extract clips from that Zoom, because maybe the sales manager did a mic drop during that meeting and you want to extract that clip. Maybe you did a few mic drops, or maybe you do just answering team questions during meetings, have amazing answers. You want those things because they're also natural. You're not sitting in front of a camera thinking, so you're probably very relaxed and very authentic in those type of videos. So you want to get those extracted from your team meetings, especially if you are on video, you look presentable and you're answering questions like spitfire. So then after documentation is creation. Really, for creation, all you need is a cell phone to start. You don't need like this fancy camera. You don't need a fancy studio. You don't need any of that. In the beginning, I really recommend that it's important to become consistent more than it's important to become pretty. A lot of people just want the pretty videos with the headlines and the captions and all of that. And that deters their focus from actually creating helpful content. And that's not going to make your video go viral. It's not going to get you more reach at all. The prettiness, it's just not. It's only going to do so if the content's actually quality and if people want to share that type of stuff. So just make sure that you don't let that stop you from becoming consistent first and it becoming a habit. And just remember that the more you do something, like what originally takes you 15 minutes to do a video is with time, within 90 days, compressed to probably 50 seconds because you're already used to it. It's like riding a bike. So it is a skill set and it's one that you do with ease the more that you do it. So find a process that works for you. I really also recommend putting a set time aside every single day to take some of those questions that you've put into a spreadsheet or whatever and just really authentically looking at the camera and answering the question. You could even state the question and then answer it. And then that's a video. State another question, answer it, and that's video. And the more and better you do it, obviously, the more comfortable it becomes. So for me, one of the best processes is you're witnessing it right now. I go live for 25 minutes, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever. My team then takes this video, will splice probably 5, 7 mini clips from this video. We'll post those on Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn and even YouTube Shorts now. And then on top of that, we'll download the audio file, then they'll upload it to the podcast. And then we're also now putting it onto our blog because LinkedIn's not the best for like, what if you wanted to see a live that I did like 30 days ago? You'd have to scroll a while. And you're probably going to get kicked off the platform. So you just want to create and pick whatever process works for you in terms of creation. And when you feel the best to create, like if you're not a morning person, probably don't create in the morning because you're going to seem grouchy in your video. If you're a night person and you love to just be creative at night, listen to music, you feel more relaxed, then do the videos at night. So you have to find what works best for you and not copy what works best for someone else. So the distribution is also a huge thing. You don't just create content, put it on a scheduler, and then say, hasta la pasta. I'm actually against schedulers because it puts people into bad habits where they just post and ghost. So that's something that you don't want to do. You do not want to post and ghost because then what a post that could have gotten great traction will probably not. And you need to engage at the end of the day. So what does distribution really look like? Publishing, again, whatever you do, do not post and ghost. Immediately after publishing, it's engaging. So engage with the people that reply to your comments. You want to engage back maybe with a question to spark more conversation. You want to share the post with your friends. You want to then also start to become top commenter on other posts. So then it'll bring them to your profile and then they'll see the most recent post. So there's a lot when it comes to that. You also want to collaborate very frequently, go on live shows, go on podcasts of other people, do posts with other people, even if it's just like an on-demand video, because then you're also constantly reaching new people through their network that maybe you wouldn't have reached otherwise. Sending the post to relevant people in your network as well, especially if you're answering a question that maybe somebody has asked you prior, you could send that video to that person and it's not like a random thing. You're just answering their question. And that's something that you could could do. But just know that the most successful people online, especially in the beginning, they're monsters at distribution. They're not just posting something and then just ghosting it. They're sending it to people. They're engaging on other posts to bring people back to their most recent post. They're replying to every comment, especially in the beginning. You could also leverage your other platforms like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, to bring traction on LinkedIn and vice versa. Like I know people who have leveraged LinkedIn to grow their YouTube channel. So you want to think about what's next. And then you want each channel to feed into the other so that there's like this quantum growth effect where they just are fueling each other over and over and over again. So measurement, you don't just want to post, ghost, and not look at the numbers. So at least on a weekly basis, look at your metrics, look at the most successful posts in terms of brand awareness. So engagement, shares, all of that. And then also look at the most successful posts when it comes to sales, because they may not be one and the same. Maybe a post that got you amazing leads that led to however much in revenue may not be the same type of post that is just for brand awareness, gets you following, and then those followers see that selling post and then convert. So it does all work together. It's not one or the other, it's and. You need brand awareness posts and selling posts. This isn't like a black and white, one or the other. In my opinion, that's what's worked for me to gain the following that I've gained, but you could do whatever you want. Keep a swipe file of the winners. So you want to keep a file of the winning brand awareness posts, the winning sales posts, because you could re-leverage them. You could recreate them. You could repurpose them into other mediums and scrap the losers. Analyze what topics the winners are around. So it's not just like, oh, this post was this way because it's this topic. It may also be your delivery of the topic. It may also be the medium of the topic, but never look at things like a coincidence. You want to definitely look at the measurement on a continuous basis. Then you want to organize your assets because you don't want things to be crazy. You could do this in Dropbox or Google Drive. So you want to organize these things so that they're searchable for you and your team, or even if it's just you right now, you want to get organized now so that if you bring on a VA, if you bring on a personal assistant, whatever, it's very easy for them to find things in the future. Like this video could be uploaded into our lives file on Dropbox, could be titled appropriately with the date. And then in the future, if I'm looking for, hey, what's that small business content process, it'll just come up. And again, the audio file could even be recreated into an ebook that then we put onto a landing page that then helps us grow our list. Or it could just be exclusive content for our Growth Academy members. There's so much that you could do with these assets. So you just want to keep them organized. Then repurposing your content. Not only repurposing the same content, the same mediums, like for example, let's say next week on Tuesday, I want to re-live stream this. And there's a way to do that. I could do that. Let's say I'm out of the office and my team still wants through my profile to reach people. I could restream this live. So it's working for me even when I'm away. Another way is, again, to take this audio to put it into a different medium. So it could be an ebook. It could be a picture book. I could take an ebook that I've written and just put it into a video. So many people that want to start with video, just look at your most successful text posts and just recreate them into a video. It's very simple. So why is that important? Different prospects learn in different ways. Some people really love to read with visuals. Some people love to watch videos. Some people love to listen. But ultimately, you do want to be reaching your prospects through all the senses. Because it's not just that sometimes we learn best through X, Y, Z. It's also how we feel throughout the day. Your prospect does not feel the same way at 8 a.m. as they do at 8 p.m. And maybe during the day, they'd like to listen because they like to listen to your podcast while they work. But maybe at night, they have the timing to actually watch a video, or in the morning the same way. So you want to be able to deepen that emotional connection with your audience through different senses. The best way, the most efficient way to do that is to take the content that you already have and just recreate them in different mediums. So I hope that this helped. I know that it's a lot for just a 20-minute segment. We went over mindset, we went over strategy, documentation, creation, distribution, measurement, organization of your assets, and repurposing your content. I hope that you love this. We appreciate you. Ciao.